Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now. Welcome to On the Edge. You know where you're at, Brains? You are at the spot, the hot spot in California. The place where the conversations are pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Today we have the beautiful Janie Davis from Carlsbad, California. Right up the road from me. I'm down here in San Diego. We're going to talk about some beautiful things that she's doing. You know, we are women of a particular age. And the unfortunate part about it is that everybody wants 60 to be the new 40. I don't want my 60 to be 40. I want my 60 to be 60 because it's an age of wisdom and grace. There's nothing to be embarrassed about your age. You are fortunate to be able to live a full life. So not only that, but Jane has taken it to the next level. She's starting the foundation for women. She's doing some mentoring. She's doing some coaching. She's got a great business opportunity. She's having fun. And I don't think she's 40, but we're going to talk to her about that and a whole lot more. Let's welcome her to the show. How are you, Jane?
You know, I'm just fine. I would love to be called Janie. The only one, the only one that ever called me Jane Ellen was my mother.
Oh, okay. we gonna call, and that was probably when you were in trouble.
Yeah, you bet, Jane Ellen.
Oh, okay. I respect that, Janie.
Janie,
thank you. How are you, Queen?
You know what? I am just doing wonderfully well, thank you. And this is such a fun thing. You really need to be praised for this because it's a brilliant thing you're doing, giving so many of us an opportunity to use our voice in a beautiful way and be heard. It's just, thank you so much.
Well, there's another opportunity that I'm going to talk to you about that just landed on my heart last night at an event I was in. And I'd love for you to be a part of that. Because what we're going to do is we're going to raise the consciousness, but not only the consciousness, we're going to raise the frequency here in San Diego. We're going to hold some people accountable. We are going to create this elite society, and hopefully we can incorporate the foundation for women in that to really resonate and make a difference. I mean, I want a visible difference. I don't want to just talk about it. We have to be about it. Tell us a little bit about the work that you do with the foundation.
Well, I've been with the foundation for 25 years. We started in San Diego, and I'm not the person who started it. Deborah Lindholm is, but we started here in San Diego, and we worked here for quite some time. And we actually had a local program for women borrowers. We do microcredit loans. We've done them all over the world, and right now we're in Liberia. We've been in Liberia for 14 years, helping that war-torn country. The women there live on less than $1 a day. And so when we give them a microcredit loan, they start a business and they're able to feed their families. They're able to have education. So it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. We do a lot more there than just the microcredit, but that's how we started out. So it's just the love of my life because I think since I was probably 15 years old, I realized I wanted to make a difference for all women. It just didn't seem right to me that women didn't have the same thing men did, and particularly women, underserved women. I was very privileged in my life. I lived in a nice little neighborhood in Anaheim, California, and little white girl, and I got along just fine.
You was up in the OC.
Yeah, I was there before Disneyland. That tells you how old I am.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm 80 years old. I had my 80th birthday in August.
Shut the front door. You are not 80.
I am 80, darling. I am 80. I can prove it.
Oh, well, you know what? The angels have been good to you because you are of right mind. You got beautiful skin, lovely hair, and a purpose. And that's what I try to tell people. A couple of friends of mine just got married and they're in their 80s. She was sneaking down to his room during COVID.
I love it.
And they just got married, and it's not over until it's over.
You're absolutely right.
Absolutely. And there's still things that we can do. You might be a little less mobile. You might not be able to dance or wear the heels that you want
No.
were before, but you are still an independent contributor to society.
Yes.
And not only are you doing the foundation for women, but you also have an exciting opportunity. Now, Brains, you guys know I don't do direct marketing or MLM on my show, but this was so unique. It took me back to the days of Mary Kay.
Yeah.
Now,
Go
if
ahead.
you guys don't know Mary Kay was ahead of her time. She was a trailblazer. She started this multi level marketing business that taught women how to put God first, family, run a business, uh, reward and recognize and love sisterhood. It was great. Now there's a new thing out. They're not doing makeup, they're doing clothes. Tell us a little bit about that, Janie. Oh,
Lovely.
oh,
I love
that's beautiful. Is that like a velvet or velour?
It's velour. And it
Ooh.
has pants to go with it, but I won't model them because I have on leggings instead. But what I would say is that I found Savvy through Foundation for Women because Deborah found out about it 3.5 years ago. And we were hoping we could have some kind of a program with them for our women borrowers. And it turned out it's just not the right venue for that. But in doing that, I got busy and got involved with Savvy and fell in love with it. And I'll tell you why. It's because one of their core values is to make a difference for all women. And that just, I mean, that rang my chimes right up the wall. I thought, yes, I want to be part of that. I really, really do. And what I find is that we have different teams, and the team that I'm on is called our Dream Tribe. And I don't know how many of us there are now. Quite there, we're all over the country. But what I love about it, April, is that we're on Zoom all the time, and I get to meet all these precious young women. They're all younger than I am. They call me Mama Bear, which I absolutely love. And they're, I get to mentor them just simply by being present and standing for who I am as an older woman. So to them, it's like, oh my God, she's older than my mother, and she's here with us, and she's working this business, and she's having a ball, and they'll ask me things, but I'm getting to help them stand for who they are at their best, and that's who I am. That's what I stand for. So starting my business years and years ago, I used to call it it's not my savvy business, my coaching business. I was doing coaching before they called it that. You know,
Mhm, mhm,
so
mhm.
I refer to my business as a soulful mentoring business because what I do mostly is help primarily women. I work with some men, but help them discover who they are on the inside. And what we do with
And
that,
how do you do that?
well,
Because okay, yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So what we do is we start out looking at some of the things that they feel where they have been victimized, almost like psychology. Only we don't spend much time there. We look at it and we find a way to walk through it quickly so
Mm,
they get over to who I am now and realize that they have choices. Everything is a choice. And what I'm teaching them is we start out being first, then doing, and then having. So
mm,
when you start out with being, what we do is we go in and we look at what their core values are. We spend a long time with that, really getting in touch with who they really believe they are. My three core values that are most important to me: creative self-expression, freedom, and love. Now, if I'm not creating a life for myself that doesn't
well,
allow
those
me
aren't my
to
three. My three is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. No, I'm
oh,
just kidding.
oh,
No, but I get what you're saying, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but so many people are seekers
oh yeah,
and they are looking for outside validation.
yes.
They're looking for other people to tell them who they are. Oh, you're a great actress, or you can really sing, or wow, you really made the numbers, you're a success. But inside, they're not fulfilled. So it's great that you're doing the deep dive at
Mhm.
being first. Who are you as a human being?
You bet. There was a book written, many, many years ago, and it was called The Mutant Messenger Down Under. It was a fiction book, but it talks about a woman who went to Australia and went on a walkabout with their Aborigines. And
Mm,
she's a real estate woman. So she shows up in her dress and her heels and the whole thing, and she goes on a walkabout. Well, what she learned is that when they're walking about, they don't bring food with them, they don't bring the water, they don't bring anything, they just walk, and they are able to become what it is they need to find simply
mm.
simply through their focus from their hearts. And so the whole book is all about that. It's fabulous. So when I tell people, when they don't understand what I'm talking about, when I say, well, you got to start being, be who you are, well, how do I do that? So okay, so think about For instance, my core value of creative self-expression, how am I being that when I show up in the world? Well, the way I speak, how I'm speaking to someone, like you, what you're saying that's so beautiful and so real.
Yeah.
I start that way. I'm an artist, so I can do it through my painting. I'm also an author, so I do it through my writing. But what I'm saying is that I have found a way to bring that into my daily experience. When I get up in the morning, I claim who I am is creative self-expression, freedom, and truth. That is who I am.
Wow.
So it's like,
And
boom.
it's that I am conversation.
You bet.
Rewarding, recognizing, having gratitude.
Yeah.
Who are you? Oh, yeah, I'm a hot mess. Or I am depressed. I am sad. I am fat. I am ugly. I am not worthy. You can have that conversation too, and it'd be so self-destructive.
It is self-destructive. Absolutely.
And it's not attractive. It gives you wrinkles. But when you can look at yourself in the mirror, and you know what? If nothing else, convince yourself. Yes. Have that conversation. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am powerful. I am worthy. I am rich. I am bold. I am, all these great things that you have a choice. I mean, if you go back in the Bible, look how many times God said, how many times I am and who I am. Yes. So you have to tell yourself that and resonate with your subconscious mind. So after you identify with your being, where do you go?
Well, what I do is I help them create scenarios of who they are at their best. So I take them back to looking at what they have accomplished that really came from them, not what somebody wanted them to do, what they should do, but what they really did on their own. It could be teeny or it can be huge, but they look inside of that and think, all right, who was I being in that space? So it changes their focus. They get out of their head into their heart. Your heart knows, your mind thinks. I mean, let that resonate. Your heart knows, your mind thinks. Our heart is love. Our heart is just pure love. Our head is so busy. We have a good head, but it gets busy.
Yeah, and it gets clogged. Last night I was at an event and my mentor was sitting next to me. And she was talking too cotton picking low. I really couldn't absorb it all she was saying. But I told her, I said, you know what? I'm at a point in my life where I'm stuck. And she said, you're stuck. I said, I don't know what else I want to do. I've got a beautiful, successful marriage. My health is relatively good. I've got a great kid. I got a great career. I'm not in financial destitute. What else is there for me? And she said, there's so much more. Why don't you focus on asking the universe to reveal it? What is it that you want? And I still feel like I'm stuck. Janie, help me with that. Well, I just don't know. I feel like I'm being greedy, but, and that's what she said. She says, you have a divine purpose on this life. You have more than one purpose. You got about 6 purposes. And so you have to figure it out, but I just don't know what to ask for.
Well, I think the first thing is you're trying to figure it out. You're up here.
Okay.
You can't, it's not figuring it out. It's discovering it. There's a discovery that needs to happen.
I'm writing this down.
And you do that
thinking about it and just let the heart help you discover.
Exactly. And what will happen is things are going to show up synchronistically for you. Right. That are going to be an opening, and you're going to go, oh my goodness, there it is. That little thing right there.
It was funny that you said that, because as we started in the beginning of the interview, I talked about a new opportunity. And just to recap, there was a woman that gave a presentation about 17 years ago, and I was in the audience. And what she said resonated with me. I've kept her card for 17. Who keeps somebody's business card for 17 years?
Not very many people.
Last night, who was sitting next to me at the table? You could have picked me up with a poopy scooper. I looked at her, she looked at me, she says, I know you. I said, I know you too. Oh, and when she told me who she was, and I recapped some of the words that were in, our eyes both filled up with water. So again, like you said, discovering it will show up, if you ask for it to be revealed.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to work on that. I'm really going to work towards that.
We just have to get out of our own way. And when we're up here trying to figure, worry, wonder, we're in our own way. We just have to get quiet and drop into the heart. I do several guided meditations with that on my website about heart consciousness. It's really, really quite something. And when I lead it in a group, what happens is I get everybody quiet. They're really not meditating, they're just getting quiet. And I lead them into their heart. And then I tell them to ask their heart a question. And what I say to them is, I say, if you get a big long paragraph, it's not your heart, it's your head. You have to stay quiet until you get one or two words, like love or pay attention or love yourself. It will be very succinct, but it will be pure.
I had a meditation and I couldn't believe it. I had to ask God twice. I said, "Are you really?" You know what it was? It said surrender.
Yeah.
I said surrender. What am I holding hostage? What's going on? And again, it's trying to control things. It's your thought patterns. It's, what is the next best thing? God said, I already got it lined up for you, girl. All you got to do is show up. I got you. Talk to me like a homeboy. I was kind of nervous. I got you. We got this. You have lived in abundance your entire life. I'm like you. I've been very, very fortunate. I grew up in South Central LA, but a loving stepfather, a wonderful mother, never had any of the kerfuffle, never, not in party like the next guy, but never had the drugs, never had the abuse or any of those things. I can be empathetic, but I'm ignorant to that because I don't know. So that doesn't mean that you don't have to have compassion for other people. So I'm going to take that. Okay. So what's the third step?
Well, what the third step involves doing the scenarios, because once someone really gets who they are and is ready to be that, then we start developing what that would look like. So generally what I have someone do is, I know storyboards and all that sort of thing. I have them journal, and I have them journal from the place that it's already happened exactly how they would love for it to happen.
Right.
That's nothing new. That's around, but
well,
it works.
Yeah, that's what I said. You and my mentor must be good friends because the same thing. She says, already see it in existence. See as if it already happened, like it's a snapshot or a memory in your mind. And then look at your resources, and then the revenue will come.
That's right.
Wow. Yeah. And it works, brains. It works. Because if you already have seen it, you're living it. It's like when I did this podcast, I never in a million years thought that it would be going on now 21 years. Who does it?
Bravo.
21 years. Over 90,000 in 47 countries. And I said, you know what? I'm going to expand on that. I want to double that. I want to triple that. There's 8 billion people on the planet.
You bet.
And I want to resonate in the hearts of many people as possible. And you've been able to do that. And you have had the grace of 80 years. What's just some of the highlights of your life?
Well, of course, having 2 children, I have 2 wonderful young boys, and I absolutely love them. I was a single mom. I got divorced in 1977.
Oh, wow.
And my boys were 5 and 8. And back then, divorced women we were frowned upon.
Yeah.
We really were. It's hard to believe, just 1977. But I was working in a pediatrician's office at the front desk, and I had to go with my pediatrician to his bank so I could get a checking account. I mean, I was mortified, first of all, and furious. But do you think I said anything? No. I went with him. I got my checking account. I said, thank you. And that was it. And inside, I was livid. I didn't feel like I had a voice that would be heard. And that's another part that I want to help women with. Speak up. Be heard. Speak from your heart. Don't be afraid. Own your greatness. I mean, I was just like a speed bump.
But you know what? You have to be careful because our tongues as women also can be switchblades.
No, and you're right about that.
And so what you want to do is you want to have discernment.
Yes.
You want to think before you speak. You want to have a strategy.
Go here too.
Exactly. You want to have a strategy.
You're absolutely
you want to go to that heart-centered place.
Yeah.
You want to learn to be quiet. You don't always have to talk. A lot of times you're missing things because you're over talking. And there's a totally different skill set between hearing and listening.
That's right. You're absolutely right.
So when you apply those things, you become heady, you become smart, you're ahead of the class. I'll go into a meeting, and I'm very good at this now. Black women, yes, I'm talking to you, sisters. Uh, we are known for our expressions. We give you the side eye, this, attitude, that. And it makes people think that we are combative or we are uncomfortable. But that's a way of us letting you know
Yeah.
when you giving us a bag of boot. Or if we're really interested, there's another look on our face. Aggression. Women, you don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be the man in the room. You don't have to show your testosterone. Let that be your armor. Let that be the thing to protect you. But be smart and be heady. Pick your battles. Right, Janie?
That's exactly right. Yeah, you betcha. You betcha. So can I just show my book for a minute?
I want to show it and I want to know what's inside of it. Wait a minute. Pull it down a little bit. Put your pretty face next to it. Hold on.
It says unlock your heart, goal setting from the inside out.
Now, what's inside the pages of that book?
I'm sorry? Oh,
What's
the
inside the
inside,
page? Yeah, what's inside of it? Tell us.
there are about 80 pages. It's a workbook. It's designed in sessions. Each session is for a week, and it does exactly what I was talking about. It takes you through and you learn your core values. You make your scenarios. It's a workbook. So when I was doing this in the 90s, I taught it. And so everybody goes, this would be a fabulous book. So around 1999, I made a book out of it. And I revised it in 2015 because I knew more now than I did then. And so it's a little different, has a little more meat in it, but it's a wonderful workbook for somebody that says, okay, where do I start? I have my website down here, and you can go and I coach it on my website. So if somebody gets the book, they can go to my website and they can go through with me.
Oh, that's perfect. And
Yeah,
that's the perfect gift any time of year
you
for
bet.
someone that, young or older, because as I said, we get older, we get lost in the shuffle.
Yes.
Empty nesters, or we're consciously uncoupled, or there might be some health challenges. You just feel like you're alone, but it's time to, kick into the second half. I
Yeah.
asked my mother, though, when she was about 85, I said, Mama, how does it feel to be 85? She said, it's the pits. And I said, why? She said, well, I'm just laying up here like lunch meat.
Oh.
And you don't have to do that. You can get out, you can join groups, organizations online,
In fact, I have a cute
puzzles.
story to tell about that. There was a book club with my book in Iowa, and one of the ladies in it was 90 years old. Her name was Ruthie.
Mm.
And she would get her hair done every week on a certain day. And so the day that they were going to do this book, Unlock Your Heart, she was going to have her hair done. But she showed up at the book club. And they go, Ruthie, what are you doing here? You get your hair done. Well, I'm not going to miss unlocking my heart. Why do I need to get my hair done? I want to unlock my heart. It's the cutest thing ever. She was 90.
Oh, that
She has
see,
since passed, rest her soul, but she she was gonna keep.
exactly. But it's that longing. It's
Yeah.
it's the want. It's
Hmm.
still being able to dream. I'm a big dreamer.
Yeah.
So let me ask you some fun questions about
Yes.
you.
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
Yellow gold,
Yellow gold? Why?
because it makes me feel good. It's just a warm color, and I like. I am an artist, so I paint, so I'm really into color. And I don't. For a long time, I wore beige, but that was because that was sort of how I felt, a long time ago. So now
Right.
I wear a lot of color, but I just and I also like purple.
Okay.
I, I'd say this kind of goldy color, not a yellow, but this kind of goldy color and purple.
Well, it looks very good against your skin tone.
Thank
It
you.
really does.
Thank
If
you.
you were an appliance in the kitchen, Janie, what appliance would you be?
Oh, that's an interesting. I had never thought about that before. What would I be? Hmm. Probably the oven. I think because I like to be warm.
Oh, see, I'm the complete polar opposite. I want to be the refrigerator because I just want to
I,
chill.
I can kind of feel like when you and I were talking earlier, I thought, oh,
Yeah, I
I'm
want to chill.
freezing.
If you were a flower in the garden, what flower would you be?
Oh, I'd be a gardenia.
Oh,
just
oh,
because
Nipsey
of that
smells so good.
amazing fragrance. Yeah.
Smells so
Yeah.
good. And I bought some and they just died. I don't know if I
Yeah,
watered them too much or whatever.
they're not they're not good cut. You can cut them. What I do is I cut one and I put it in a little tiny dish, and it'll do my room for a day, and then it's done.
Oh,
But
well,
they're beautiful. Yeah.
if now you've lived on this planet for 80 years.
Yes, darling.
What was your favorite decade?
Oh wow, that's something because every single one of them had some treasures and some real shit. So, I don't know my favorite one. Gosh. Well, I probably would say maybe the 80s and 90s because I was free. I was no longer married
Mm.
and I needed to be finding myself and regaining who I really was. So I think the 80s and 90s they were a time of experiment for me. And some was good and some wasn't. But I think overall, I think I found myself during that time.
Okay,
I,
that's good.
I
And
started,
you had a checking account.
yeah, damn Skippy, you
But
know.
and I can see the relationship between what you do with the Foundation for Women and the checking account because you don't have to struggle. There are opportunities, there are options that weren't provided for you before.
That's right.
And that's very powerful. That's very powerful. So I can see how that resonates in your heart.
Oh,
If
oh.
you could travel now through time,
Hmm.
past, present, where would you land?
Hmm. Well, if I could travel through time, which I know in the upper dimensions there really isn't any time, but I'd like to live in the fifth dimension. I
Mhm.
would like to be out of the third dimension where we are now. I'd like to be done with all these very frightened people that are doing all the wrong things and hurting people because they're so scared. And I would like to be in a place where we could have a co-creative consciousness, where we help each other, we live in peace, we each bring our gifts and we share those gifts. And I see that in the fifth dimension.
I'm there with you. I'm ready
Oh,
to.
goody. I was hoping you were going to come.
Yeah, I'm ready to. Yeah, no, I don't want to go back in time. There's plenty of books and history and all that. I don't want to do that. I want to go futuristic. I can see myself in 3030.
Yeah.
I wonder what the hairstyles will be like then.
Oh, I don't
That's
know.
good. What do you think about this artificial intelligence?
I try not to think about it. It upsets me. I was in a
Really?
mastermind group. Yeah, I was in a mastermind group a couple of months ago. We're no longer meeting now, but they were all business women and they were all doing that chat thing where it writes your summaries, it writes everything for you. And I thought, you know what? Because I'm a creative person, that just bothered me that I wasn't going to use my own creativity. I was going to have some computer figure it out for me. I don't know. I'm a little bit.
I like it because but this is the thing is that we also have to contribute to it.
Well, yes.
Okay? We have to contribute, we have to make it culturally sensitive, gender sensitive. We have to feed the information into the machine. All it does is regurgitate it.
No, you're
I
right.
don't I don't like when people plagiarize
No.
because it's not authentic and it's going to come out. It's
Mm.
like someone writing your resume. How many times have you went to hire somebody and read their resume and then called them in for the interview and you go, "Now I know good cotton picker well. You can write this resume, boy. This ain't you." So I get it.
Oh,
I get it. But it's very valuable, and that is where the world is going. And as we get to 5G, that is what it's going to be. I was telling somebody, we're gonna make love by touching foreheads. You
I
know,
hope not.
me too. But everything is
I
gonna
like a little
evolve.
warm fuzzy.
Exactly. So, what are the millennials that you're working with? What are they saying to you about where they're headed as business women?
I love it because they're very forward thinking, but they're owning who they are, and particularly I'm seeing it in Savvy, they're owning their greatness because they come in and they're a little nervous about, well, maybe I won't be able to do this, but and then when they start to realize, yes, I'm doing it and it's working, and they're just glowing. They get up on the stage and they're just glowing. So I think that the millennials, if they have an opportunity to shine, they will. I really do.
I think so too, but I don't know. I think the millennials are not as competitive as maybe our generation because we had to jockey for a position. We
Well,
had
that's
to establish an identity. We had to
mhm,
fight against the machine called the man. Now,
mhm.
after the Me Too movement and a lot of things, we may get we got a female vice president. I'm not even gonna go into that because I don't even know where she is. But as far as a female president, we'll see. And there's been women that have led countries and nations
Oh yes.
years and centuries. I mean, look at Cleopatra. And here we are in the United States going backwards, with a woman's right to choose.
It's just oh,
It's annoying. It's really annoying.
it's beyond annoying. It's
You
beyond
know.
annoying. But anyway.
So, what would you tell a 25-year-old Janie Davis?
Oh wow. Believe in yourself.
Mm,
Absolutely believe in yourself. You're a good person, you're a generous person, you're a kind person, you have a great sense of humor, and you're a good mom. Believe in yourself.
that's great. So, tell us a little bit about your artwork.
Oh, well, I've been painting since I was about 9 years old. I would
Wow.
not call myself a professional. I do it for fun. But I do all sorts of painting. I do oils and acrylic.
Do you
I do.
have any there near you that we can see? Is
Um,
that yours?
I have a not. I can go get it and bring it back.
Go get it and bring it back.
Okay. So
Oh
this
my
is, I
God.
call this a sea of saris. This is when I went to India with the Foundation for Women, and we started microcredit banking in India with the women in Tamil Nadu who live on less than $1 a day. And we met them, and they came in their saris. Of course, they had old cotton saris on, not silk saris, but they were just so gracious and so beautiful. And we got to talk to them, and it was life changing for me. It really was the whole experience. So when I came home, I thought, well, I have to paint it. That whole vision of them, and that's what I did.
That's absolutely gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
What is your inspiration for painting? What goes on in your head and in your mind? What are you thinking? What pulls
You
out
know,
that
sometimes,
creativity?
sometimes um, I'll just see something or like a picture of something and it inspires me. Other times I need inspiration. For instance, a couple of days ago, there's a girl who has these hilarious donkeys, and she pasted a picture of them on Facebook with these donkeys, these two adorable. And I said, "Would you mind if I paint that?" So I'm working on that right now. So sometimes it's something I've seen, and of course, when it's a photograph, I always ask permission if I know who took the photograph. But like the Sea of Stories, that was just came right from my heart when I got home. So it's a wonderful venue to play with, even if you don't consider yourself an artist.
Yeah, I
Everybody
have some paints too, and I go out there and sometimes I painted a picture of my Pomeranian and it looked just like him.
Well, of
I
course
couldn't
it is.
believe it. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh wow, I love this. I said, Jean-Pierre, this is you. And he wagged his tail and he was like, we communicated on a
Yeah,
different frequency. So
yeah.
your
That's
frequency is resonating with me, and I thank you so much. Please tell my brains how to get involved either with the Foundation for Women or with Sorry.
what you mean with savvy.
Savvy, I'm sorry. Savvy.
Well, I've got this savvy thing right here. So if you want to go and
Pull it up just a little bit.
okay, this is my savvy link to go to the savvy website. It is savvy, savvi.com/FFW Janie, Janie. And that way you can go to my link and you can see all the things that we have. We have clothing, we have wellness products, and we have skincare. Go take a look.
Raise, I want you to check that out. And I want you to go in and follow Janie on social media because she does a makeshift fashion show and she explains and she turns around and she poses. It's so cute. It's
What I do is I
absolutely
ham it up, is what I do. I
well,
just
that's what you got to do. You got to sell it, baby. You got to
yeah.
sell it. Nobody can sell it like you.
If they want to see the Foundation for Women, they just go to www.foundationforwomen.org.
Okay. And do you have your own website outside of these two where they
Yes,
can
I
purchase
do.
the book?
It's called Unlock Your Heart.
Okay. So Brains, there's four opportunities to connect. One on social media, number two through Foundation for Women, number three with Savvy, And number 4, to purchase her book. Don't miss an opportunity to win, to grow, and to be in charge of your life. Take it from a woman that's 80 years old that is living her life like she's
I'm
40.
not stopping, girls. No
That's
way.
right. Don't pump the brakes. Brains, I need you to go in, and I can't even find my card. I'm so excited. Here we go. I want you to love, like, share, and subscribe here on The Edge. Love, like, share, and subscribe. Go back and listen to other edgy conversations on bold, bright, intelligent, intuitive men and women, millennials, seniors, international flavor and flair. We're all here for you to make you the best person you can be. Thank you so much, Janie. You're queen.
Thank you. Big love.
All right.